sheets to document.
Yes.
Okay, then you will be little familiar with the data, right? So how the data gets stored, like columns and rows. So yeah, it will
Yes.
be. It's not, Power BI won't be alien for you. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. How about you, Chaitra?
Hi, Uday. Hi, I'm Chaitra. Yeah, I'm purely from life science background. I don't know about anything about Power BI.
Life science background in a sense, like what exactly you do at life science?
Mine is molecular biology and human genetics. So I'm from research background. I'm dealing with human science.
Yeah, currently I'm working for healthcare company where we have subject matter experts where we deal with different subjects. So one of the subjects is life sciences. So that is the
And
reason I asked.
actually, I'm not working anywhere.
Mhm.
So I'm just discontinued my PhD. So
Okay.
I don't
No.
have any idea about this Power BI and
No problem. So actually, those who are not part of IT background, right? They feel that it will be easy for them to learn Power BI because previously Power BI was for the developers who have IT experience, but now Power BI been used to different sectors like even HR department. Those who are not part of IT, they use Power BI. Um, sure. How about you, Arshita? Hello, Arshita, can you hear me?
Yeah, please carry on. Maybe she's unmuted.
Okay, no problem. Hmm. Thank you. Okay, let's start. So I don't want to cramp everything on day one. So we will have a little introduction to Power BI. We will see what exactly the Power BI is and why we use Power BI. From tomorrow's session, we'll dive into technical part, right? Today we will see what is Power BI. So if you look at this particular definition, which is from Microsoft, what is Power BI? So Power BI is a Microsoft self-service BI platform for both on-premise and cloud-based data. So here we have a lot of technical terms which we are gonna discuss one by one. So first is self-service BI. So what is self-service BI? So first of all, BI. What is BI? BI is nothing but business intelligence. Just think about this. Let's say you're working for a healthcare company. Um, let's say we'll talk about the hospitals network, where we will be having a different hospital. Let's take example Apollo hospitals. If you talk about like 20 years before, when Apollo Hospital started, so they have a different branches where patients come in. There'll be inpatients, outpatients. There'll be huge data which get collected. So 20 years before, they used to take all the information through forms, right? They used to fill the forms physically. They used to have all the forms. So with these forms, what happens, right? When you go to the billing counter, there you will be having a billing which written physically. And when you go to lab session, there you will be having all the lab records physically in the papers or some there will be written notes. And when you visit doctor, there will be written notes. So everywhere, let's say every per day, there will be hundreds of patients. If you have all this information, um, it's the same particular patient if he visits to different hospital. So maybe after 2 months, the data which have been in the other hospital might not have been communicated with this new hospital, right? So there is a gap. And so previously we used to only 100% used to visit the hospital. Now thousands of people and visits hospital every day. So if you want to store all this data and if you want to be communicated with the different hospitals, there should be a proper communication and there should be a proper platform. Uh, and once we got all this data, there should be analytics to analyze the data. For example, one patient visited this hospital, and after 2 months, he visited the hospital. You have to, analyze this data, why he visited the hospital and for what purpose he visited the hospital and what is the issue with it. And based on that, you can get some conclusion. Okay, whether the particular patient is going to visit in another next, maybe in a month or 2 months. What is the particular diagnosis and how can we rectify this? Everything, all the information, right? So now we got the huge information where the data is, just a moment. Is getting stored in huge way. So having this data is useless, right? So if you don't get something out of the data, is no point of having the data. So using this data, we derive some intelligence. By using business intelligence, we do analytics, analysis, right? So based on that, we take the decisions. For example, if you took about e-commerce, so when you go to any Amazon website, when you log into that website and if you browse something, after 5 minutes, you will get all the recommendations. So how you get these recommendations? Based on the business intelligence. So based on your search history, based on lot of things happens in the background. So based on that, you get the recommendation. There is a customer analysis. We call it as sentimental analysis based on the NLP, natural language processing. So when we teach feed something in the Twitter, or if you post something in Instagram about any of this your products. So based on your post, they will pick the some of the keywords and they do the customer analysis and they do the segmentation. All this analysis happens, and based on that, they will either remodel the product. If you have got the bad reviews, they will just remodel the product. So based on business intelligence. So business intelligence is part of your data now. BI is nothing but business intelligence. Right? So now why business intelligence came in here, Power BI? Because uh, Power BI is business intelligence tool based on the data you get from the different data sources. It use business intelligence tool. It use business intelligence and it will create a report. For example, you got the raw data, which is very raw. It is an Excel sheet which has columns and rows. For example, if you take one simple example, let's say you got student data and they have student ID. Have name and marks. Right? Let's say we have 4 students in our class.
Yeah, sorry, Uday.
Yeah.
Maybe some other students may join class, okay, because of my, I published the link, so, so do not, just carry on like that.
Enjoy. Okay, this is simple data. If you look at this data, we have only 4 rows, 4 students. If someone come and ask me any question out of this data, for example, if someone comes and asks like how much Ravi got, I can say based on this particular record, Ravi has 55 marks. If someone comes and asks like what is the student ID for Rakesh, I can say I have Rakesh and student number is 1. Just imagine if we have some lakhs of records. For every record, I can't go through each and every record and can find the information, right? So that's where the business intelligence comes into picture. So where you need to use your intelligence to bring the analysis out of this. The same way, I just gave one simple example, but going forward in our course, we will be seeing the huge data where by looking at data itself, we don't understand what exactly it is. Right now, I have structured properly. This is structured data, right? Structured data is something which we have organized it properly. We have three types of data. And one is structured. Don't worry, everything we're going to cover in future courses, but this is just an introduction. Structure, we have a semi-structure, we have unstructured. So structured data is something which is having a proper structure, which is having like columns and rows, records and everything. So by looking at this data, you will understand what exactly it is. Semi-structure is something uh, you get, you'll understand something from that, but you need to do some transformations to get converted into structured data. So example, we have XML files, we have JSON files. So which are is in like key pair values, so which is nothing but XML and JSON. And we have unstructured data. It is difficult to understand and it is difficult to do analysis on the unstructured data, but still we have a lot of technology where we can convert unstructured data into structured data. Unstructured data, for example, we have images, we call it as unstructured, we have videos, and few of the documents which are unstructured. And all this comes under unstructured data. So right now, whatever we see here is like structured data. So Power BI deals with structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. So we can bring all this data to Power BI and we can create a reports. Okay, what is self-service BI? Self-service BI in the sense, it is a business intelligence tool where it will convert the raw data into proper structured data and then we will create the reports. Then self-service BI is something. Previously, if you ask me 20 years before, if someone wants to create a report, they should have a technical knowledge. Only IT experts they used to create a report. Those who have a knowledge on proper data and technology. But now, even those who don't have any IT background, they can bring the data from different sources to Power BI and they can create a report on their own. So that is something we call it as a self-service BI. Self-service BI in the sense, you don't need any technical expertise to create a report. On self-service, you can create a report. So that is something Power BI has brought, like self-service BI. If you look at some other visualization tools like Tableau, we have a Click View, we have a Looker BI. Those we don't call it as a self-service BI because we need a technical expertise to create a report. But in Power BI, we don't need anything. You don't need any help from others to create a report. You can just bring the data to Power BI and you can create a report on your own. So that is what we call it as a self-service BI. So Power BI is Microsoft's self-service BI. Microsoft has introduced the Power BI. That's why we call it as Microsoft Self-Service Power BI. Okay. And this is a platform for both on-premise and cloud data. So data resides in two places. One is on-premise, cloud. So on-premises in the sense, nothing but which data resides in your system. It is not exposed to outer world. System in the sense could be your laptop. So whatever the data I have in this laptop, right, that is on-premises data. Uh, for examples for the on-premises data could be Excel, which resides in your laptops, text files, any videos or images in your system. We call it as on-premises data. Cloud data, which is exposed to outer world. Again, outer world in the sense there will be a lot of security, but eh, uh, sorry, but others can communicate and use this data. So examples are like if I talk about like Google Drive, which is in cloud. So Google Drive, what happens like you can share this particular file to some other people, and they can use that same file, and you can use the same file. So that is one of the examples for cloud. We have a lot of data for cloud. So now let's say I 80% of people use cloud data and 20% of these use people use on-premises data. That is the main difference between on-premise and cloud. So Power BI uses both on-premises data and cloud data. So we can create report data from on-premises and from cloud as well. So now if you phrase everything at once, Power BI is a Microsoft self-service BI platform for both on-premise and cloud data. So uh, by on your own, you can create a report from on-premise data or cloud-based data using Power BI. So Power BI is nothing but a tool. Uh, like Power BI is business intelligence tool. Using that, you can create a reports from both on-premises and cloud data. So that is what Power BI is. Hope you got the basic understanding about Power BI, right? Going forward, if you start using Power BI, right, you'll get better understanding. But right now, you got the basic idea, right? So you have any questions? Okay. So it provides business users with tools for aggregating, analyzing, visualizing, sharing data. So here, four things happens in Power BI. The first thing is aggregating data. Aggregating data in the sense getting data from different data sources. Getting data from SQL database, getting data from storages, getting data from Excel, CSV, even live data like IoT from IoT devices like event hubs, stream analytics, machine learning, SD insights. We have hundreds to hundreds of data sources. So we aggregate all this data, aggregating in the sense combining all this data and then analyzing in the sense you do the transformations. So if the data is not in proper structure, if it is not in a proper way, we do the transformations on top of the data and then visualizing. So this is how we visualize the data. We create a report, we create a visualizations, and then we visualize our data. Finally, after visualizing, we share our data to others to visualize the data. So this is the flow of the data. We will see another slide how the data flows. So Power BI has mainly three parts. First is Power BI desktop. This is first Power BI desktop. Second is Power BI service, and third is Power BI mobile. So Power BI desktop is your application. It's an offline application. You can install from Microsoft and you can use on it. It is free application. So where you bring the data and you create reports. Once you create that report will be only in your system. If you don't share that report, it will be only for you. And if you want to share that to others, you need to publish this report to Power BI service. Power BI Services cloud platform where you publish your reports. From there, you share your reports to others. This is on-premises one. And once you share this report, it will be published to your Power BI service. Even you can log in from your mobile, the Power BI service, whatever the application, right? That website, you can log in from your mobile as well. And you can see whatever the report you see here, right? You can view that from your mobile as well. So these are the main three parts of Power BI. One is Power BI desktop, which is application where you can install in your system and you can create a reports. Once you create the report, you publish that report to cloud. Cloud is a Power BI service. And along with the Power BI service, even you can view your reports in your Power BI mobile as well. So these are the three parts of Power BI. And now let's see the flow of data in Power BI. What exactly we do in Power BI. First thing is in Power BI, we get data from different data sources. It could be Excel data, it could be CSV files, could be CRM applications, it could be SQL Server. We have a different data. So even we get data from websites. We can get data from other data sources like CSV, PDF. We can get data from XML, JSON. As I said, like it's semi-structured, right? So we can get the data from XML, JSON as well. We can get data from even Google Sheets. We have a 200 plus connectors. We will see how we get the data to Power BI. So the first thing is like aggregating the data, getting data from different data source. Then we do the ETL. ETL is nothing but extract, transform, load, that we will see in the next session, where we do all the transformations. We will clean the data. Once we clean the data, we do the data modeling. Data modeling in the sense where we create a relationship among the tables. So we will see why we need to create a relationship among the tables in data modeling session. So we create a relationship, then we will create a reports. Uh, Before that, we have a lot of other things like creating a measures, calculate columns. We do a lot of things. But end, we create a reports. From there, we will share the reports in the cloud. So once we share, we can view the report either in your website like cloud app.powerbi.com, or you can view your report in mobile as well. So this is the basic flow of Power BI. So as I said, like we have a different data sources, right? Where we can get the data from files, databases, online services, and other. Let's see how many connectors we have in Power BI. So once I open Power BI desktop, we have a one window called Get Data. So where you can see a lot of connectors here. So if you go to File, either you can get data from Excel or text or CSV. We have XML, JSON, PDF, Parquet file, SharePoint folder. If you go to databases, we have a number of databases like SQL, Access Database, Oracle, IBM, MySQL, Postgre. And if you go to Microsoft Fabric, where you can get data from warehouses, data flows, Power BI semantic models, and we have a Power Platform, we have Azure database, we have online services, and if you go to other, we can get the data from web, and we have a different data sources. Right? We have a n number of data. So one of the things which stand out Power BI from the different other tools is something about the connectors. We have a n number of connectors where we can get the data. In case if you don't find your connectors over here, so still we have options to get the data either using OData feed, or we have ODBC connectors, or still we can write a Python scripts to get the data. So we will see all this in future sessions. Okay, and so finally, we will see what is Power Platform. So you might have here two buzzwords. One is Microsoft Platform. Power Platform. And second thing, which we got 1 year before, which is nothing but Microsoft Fabric. So my suggestion is like, if you are going to learn Power BI, don't rely on Power BI alone. Try to learn a few of the basics, at least basics from this Power Platform or Fabric. Okay, let's see what is Power Platform. So till now we were discussing about Microsoft Power BI, right? So this is business analytics where we create a reports. Along with that, we have other tools, part of Power Platform, which is nothing but Power Apps, where we can create apps. Apps in the sense what we see in our mobile, right? From like Play Store, the same type of business apps we can create using Power Apps. And we have a Power Automate where we can do automation. Let me give one example related to Power Automate. Previously, I faced this one. 5 years before, we used to get the files from the different organization. We used to get files in our mails. We used to download those every day. At 10 o'clock, we used to download, and we used to keep that in one folder. We used to keep that in one folder. From there, we used to pick and we used to create a report. But now using Power Automate, we can do automate all this flow. Once we get mail, right, automatically it will pick the file and it will keep in the folder. From there, again, it will fetch to Power BI and it will refresh the data. Everything we can do automation. We don't do it manually. This is one of the examples, but we have a lot of examples. And we have Power Virtual Agents. Power Virtual Agents in the sense like chatbots. If you go to any of your banking applications, right, where you can see chatbots, right? So those chatbots we can create using Power Virtual Agent. And Power Pages are nothing but websites. Right now, whatever the Amazon website, so these type of websites we can create using Power Pages. So all together we call it as a Power Platform. So you might have got question why we keep all these applications at one place called Power Platform, because we can do integration. So once you create a Power App, you can keep the Power App in your report. Why we keep a Power App in a report? Because Power BI doesn't have a visualization to get the user input. Power BI is a tool where we just show the report, right? But still you want to get the user input, you need Power App. So we can bring the Power App to Power BI. Just now I just given one example, Power Automate, where we can use in Power BI. And you can use Power BI reports in your application apps. And you can use the chatbot in your report, or you can use chatbot in your app. And then you can use Power Automate in a Power Virtual Agent. You can use your Power Pages in Power Apps. So we can do a lot of integration. That is the reason they kept all this at one place. So if you learn Power BI well, of course, you will learn basic to advanced in Power BI in this course. But along with that, I'll be giving introduction to Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtualization. So end of this course, we will be creating one or two apps, and we will be creating like one or two flows, Power Automate, and we'll be creating one chatbot as well. Okay, so this is about Power Platform. And now let's go to Fabric. So you can choose any of these paths if you want to pursue your career in Power BI. So this is one path, and the next path is Fabric. So this is one of the advanced one. So this is where if you look at this particular Power Platform, right, we have a limited things. One, we have Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent. But if you go to Fabric, we have a lot of things here. So Fabric is one hood where everyone can come and work. Data, business intelligence developers, we have a data analyst, we have a data engineers, we have a data scientist. So everyone can come and work. So here, common data source called OneLake, where we store all the data. From there, we do either machine learning, we do data science thing, we can do the data engineering things, we can use Fab, like a data factory, we can use data warehouse, we can use Power BI. We have lot of things. So if you want to pursue your career further into data engineering, data science, along with the Power BI, you can choose Fabric. But this is little difficult and it will take time. It will be good for your future if you pursue this career. But if you want to stick to only data analysis and few of the other applications, you can go ahead with the Microsoft Power Platform. But if you want to pursue your career into data science and data engineering along with Power BI, you can go for the Fabric. But I'll be covering both Microsoft Fabric and Power Platform in this course. We'll be focusing more into Power BI. Along with that, I'll be giving introduction to other tools. So any questions till now?
Uday, what is one lake?
Okay. one lake in this in the sense like it is a common data source for all the applications. So previously we used to have a different data sources for different application. If I'm talking about Azure Data Factory, we used to have a different data source. If I'm talking about Power BI, we used to have a different data source. And if I'm talking about data science people, right, they used to have their different data sources to store the data and retrieve the data. But what Microsoft thought, they want to bring everyone at one place. Data engineers, data scientists, data analysts, business intelligence developers. So everyone, they should have the only one place to store the data. That is one lake. In another way, let's say previously companies they used to store the data in different places. For Power BI developers, they used to store the data in SQL. Okay. For data scientists, they used to store the data in like Custo clusters or some other data source. For data engineers, they used to store the data in some other SQL. So now what they did, they brought whole the data at one place, nothing but one lake. If you're familiar with Azure technology, you might have heard like Lake House.
Is it related to the clouds?
Yeah, everything is cloud. We are not going to talk about anything on on-premises and Microsoft Fabric. Though you get the data from on-premises, but everything happens at cloud. So whatever the data is getting stored in one lake, right? Or everything is in cloud. So from here, anyone can use the data. So now for data science people, they don't go to some other data source to bring the data. And from the data engineering team, they don't go to some other. Everyone come at one place and they take the data and they'll be working here. So as a Power BI developer, what I'll do, I'll bring whatever the required data from this one lake and I'll work on that. As a science data scientist, I'll take whatever the data I require from this one lake, I'll work on this. So this is a common data source for everyone. That is a simple explanation, but technically we have a lot of things to discuss that we will discuss in future.
Okay.
Then I'll just walk you through the Power BI syllabus. So from tomorrow uh, we'll be starting about Power BI complete introduction. Today we have just seen the basic introduction on Power BI. So tomorrow we will see introduction and then we will start about technical things. So we will see the Power BI desktop installation and we will see what is data set, visualization, what is report, dashboard, tiles. And I'll just walk you through the Power BI UI and then we will be covering about Power Query. So we have a Power Query in the sense where we do all the transformations on data. So when we bring the raw data, right, we can't expect the data should be in proper structure. So there will be a lot of transformations we need to do on the data. So that we do using Power Query Editor in Power BI. So we will cover each and every option available in Power Query Editor. So it could be row transformations, column transformations, at end of the every model, there will be a lab for you. So we will do the append queries, merge queries. And once we're done with this, transforming the data using Power Query Editor, we load that into Power BI Desktop. There we do the data modeling. So in data modeling, we will be covering everything about data modeling. What are the types of relationships available? What is inactive, active relationship? Why we need relationships among the tables? Once we're done with that, we will discuss about the tags. This is really important topic in Power BI. If I want to divide Power BI, let's say like 70% is DAX and remaining 30% is other concepts. Other concepts are most into theoretical part. Anyone can get it, but DAX is something technical where you need to work on more. So that we will be discussing in detail in our session. So we will see what is explicit measures, implicit measure, what is calculate column measures. Then we will go through all the functions. We have different functions like date and time functions, logical functions, text, math, filter. So we'll go through all the functions. And then finally, we create a reports. While creating a reports, there will be a lot of options, lot of behaviors in the reports, like applying the filters on the reports, creating pins, what is drill down, drill up. And apart from this basic visualizations, we have a custom visualizations that we will see in our further sessions. So we will see all the available charts. And once we are done with this, we will go to SQL and we will be using SQL as well. So as a Power BI developer, you should know the SQL as well, not at the advanced level, at least the basic level, because most of the time you will be working on the SQL data, like getting the data from SQL servers. So you should know how to write the queries. So to retrieve the data, we need to write a queries because you should not bring whole data, whatever available data from SQL to Power BI. It's not a good practice. You need to write a queries where you can bring only the required data to Power BI. So using SQL, we will bring the data. So we will, learn about SQL as well. What exactly SQL is and what we can do in SQL. Once we are done with the SQL, we will work on Power BI service, which is nothing but cloud, where we publish the report. Power BI service is not only about publishing the report. We have a lot of things to do, like managing the access, creating a dashboards, sharing this reports to others, and then we will discuss about data gateways, right? Apps. Then one of the most important concepts in Power BI, row level security. It is like applying security on report. So once you share the report, um, if you maybe by mistake or unintentionally you share the report to someone else, maybe they should not see the whole data. It could be a sensitive data in your report. So if you apply the row level security, only the people who have access to the report, they will be only able to see this particular data that we will see how to apply. And we will talk about Power BI mobile app, embedded, and introduction to Power Apps, Power Automate, Fabric. There'll be a real-time project explanation. And if someone who wants to uh, have resume will be having a resume preparation as well. And there'll be interview question discussion. End of the every topic, there'll be interview questions discussion. And finally, there will be a mock interviews. There'll be two mock interviews. If you are interested, I'll tell you the slots. You can book the slots and you can attend the mock interviews. There'll be only two in mock interviews. That is totally up to you whether if you want to attend mock interviews. I'll be arranging those mock interviews. So these are the hands-on experience where you will be creating reports. So these type of reports in our course. So I'll be giving the scenario on the data sets. Based on that scenario, so you have to just create reports. So only my humble request is like not only Power BI, if you take any tool without practice, you won't get anything. While you're listening this class or while practice once, it looks familiar, but if you don't practice often, you won't get anything out of that. So my request is only one thing is like whenever I provide labs, try to complete that and submit it. So usually I provide the labs end up for weekends. So whatever the 5 days we have covered the topics, right? So based on that, I'll be providing the lab for weekend. Try to complete that lab and submit it by end of this weekend. I'll be reviewing and we will discuss. We'll be discussing about those labs on Mondays or Tuesdays. Right? This is about this training syllabus. So any questions related to the syllabus? Or did I miss anything to add in the syllabus? Yeah, that's all from my end, guys. I'm open for questions. So if you have any questions, we can take.
So what is the duration for the completion of this course?
45 days.
Okay, thank you. The timing will be 6 a.m., right? Every day?
Yeah, 6 to 7.
Yeah. It will start at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
IST.
exactly. Yeah, 6 a.m.
Oh,
IST, yes.
okay. There will be no time change, right? It will be
Yeah,
fixed.
no, there won't be any change in the timings, but I'm not sure. Like, let's discuss. If everyone is comfortable at 6 a.m., we will connect at 6. If not, then we will discuss on that. Yeah.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, thank you.
Guys, one more request from my end. Please mute yourself in class because any other questions? Okay, then I assume no. Then we are good to close the call. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining the session. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.